Per the State of California Executive Order N-29-20, this meeting is being held telephonically. All public comments were received either by email or via voicemail as noted within the agenda. Council, please mute your microphones until called upon for comment or vote. Mayor, I am now passing the mic over to you.
Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Mayor Wiggins?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Here.
Councilmember Davies? Councilmember Davies, you may be on mute.
Here.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Here.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Here.
City Treasurer Scholler?
Here.
City Clerk Marsh?
Here.
All elected officials are present telephonically.
Thank you. And has Pastor Kyle come on the line?
He has not.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and lead the invocation then. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege that we have to gather publicly during these times of strife. And I ask that you would be with all of the council and staff tonight as we make decisions that affect our residents, Lord. And we ask all this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I will now have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. Consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member of the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If the comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the City Council concerning the items before them. Were there any public comments regarding consent agenda?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Okay. Are there any consent agenda items that the council would like removed? Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Not me, thank you.
Councilmember Davies?
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
No.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Not for me, thanks.
And I have none. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I move that we present the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
It. Councilmember Davies.
Okay, thank you. Roll call vote. Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
And I cast a yes vote as well. It was a unanimous vote, 5-0, to approve the consent agenda. Audience oral and written communications. Per the State of California Executive Order N-29-20, do we have any public comments?
There were 0 comments received by voicemail and 1 letter received from Margaret Squires on June 17th, 2020. This is being read verbatim. My husband, John Squires, passed away recently, and now I am the owner of the Downtown Theater building. I am writing to express my disappointment with some recent events that have transpired regarding the aesthetic improvement of the building. I recently contracted a painter who began to perform the improvement work, but has been met with one roadblock after another from your city engineers. The painter holds insurance as it is, but has been told he requires more. This has held up the work to improve the building from which our downtown will benefit. It baffles me that when I moved ahead to do these simple improvements, the city of Tehachapi has been so discouraging. This is not complicated work, just basic plaster repair, applying new paint to different areas, etc. All simple but important to the overall appearance of the building. This is something the city should welcome and support, not make difficult. Again, the painter has insurance and simply wants to get the job done. Please allow him to do this without unreasonable request. That concludes the reading of the letter. Mrs. Squires also requested that any resolution to the matter be stated during this council meeting, so I will now pass along this to Development Services Director Jay Slosher.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Ashley. First and foremost, this issue has been completely resolved. And so the issue, just so you all were aware, is we were not made aware of the painting changes. We drove into work one day and found the painters having blocked the sidewalk and painting overhead, doing plaster repair overhead in a manner that, in our judgment, was a potential safety hazard to the public because of the nature of the movie theater being immediately on top of city right-of-way, and in fact, all that canopy awning area underneath where you enter the movie theater is over public right-of-way. So there's a liability, and I'm sure the council, being aware of the fact that we get claims from time to time, understands why we then stop the work and talk to the contractor about the work. Statement in the letter, in the sense that the insurance became the issue, was accurate. We did have the contractor come over to our office and apply for the appropriate encroachment permit. Initially, that contractor did not have satisfactory insurance to protect the city. Our insurance rates and requirements for encroachment permits have been reviewed by our RMA, by our insurance company, and that's the basis of them. They aren't just plucked out of thin air. Anyway, so we worked with that contractor, though, to address the issue associated with the inadequate insurance. I honestly can't remember if we accepted less insurance through talking to our insurance company, or that contractor obtained additional insurance. That these things don't always make it to my desk, but my understanding was it was resolved reasonably quickly, and then the painter was allowed to proceed and complete the work. I believe the letter was sent to us in the intervening time while that was being worked on, and I believe it was only a matter of a handful of days. I did not receive any contact from the property owner in that intervening time. Instead, we just received the letter. So if I had received a phone call, I would have attempted to address it before she wrote a letter to you all. But there it is. The letter's handled. We have resolved it. They have been granted their permit. I do believe they've even completed the work at this time. So I don't think there's any issues anymore. But that concludes my report.
And this is the Kitchen Post Theater?
Yes, ma'am.
Not the BK?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
The BK is owned by us. That would have been an entirely different arrangement.
Yeah. All right. I get confused. All right. Does anyone have any questions about that? All right.
Jay, yes, I do. Jay, did you contact Ms. Squires, or did we have any contact with her?
I did not personally speak to her, but Greg, did you call her back? Somebody did from City Hall, forgive me.
This is Ashley. I did speak with her. She knew it was being handled, and that's why she did want the resolution stated during the meeting, so you all knew it had been taken care of.
All right.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. All right, if there are no more public comments, we're moving on to item 6, disbursements and bills for RSI Petroleum.
Madam Mayor, this is Councilmember Davies. I need to recuse myself. I'm an employee of RSI Petroleum. Don't want those like a conflict of interest.
Thank you. All right. Were there any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by voicemail and 0 by email.
Thank you. I will ask for council comments via roll call. Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
No comment.
Councilmember Pogencourt.
None, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener.
None, thank you.
And I have none. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the disbursements and bills for RSI Petroleum as presented.
This is
I'll make that
Councilman
motion,
Smith.
Madam Mayor.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. And Councilmember
I'll second.
Scrivener, were you seconding it?
You bet I will.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. Roll call. Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Pogencord,
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener,
Yes.
and I vote yes. It's a 4-0 vote to approve the disbursements and bills for RSI Petroleum with a recusal from Councilmember Davies. Thank you. Are you back on the line, Mr. Davies?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay. Moving on to item 9, letter of support for the proposed establishment of the Tehachapi Mountain Viticultural Area. Our Economic Development Coordinator, Corey Costello, will give the report.
Thank you, Mayor Wiggins and council members. Tonight I bring you the comment of support for the proposed establishment of the Tehachapi Mountains Viticultural Area. Some of you are aware the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, TTB, proposes to establish the approximately 58,000-acre Tehachapi Mountains Viticultural Area in the Tehachapi region. TTB designates viticultural areas to allow vintners to better describe the origin of their wines and to allow consumers to better identify wines they may purchase. TTB received a petition a few years ago on behalf of local vineyard owners and winemakers in the greater Tehachapi area, proposing the establishment of the Tehachapi Mountains American Viticultural Area, or AVA. The proposed Tehachapi Mountains AVA includes 6 commercially producing vineyards covering a total of 25 acres, as well as 1 current winery. Approval of this AVA will allow vineyards and wineries in the area to print Tehachapi Mountains on their commercial wine labels. On June 26, 2020, TTB released a detailed report, which is attached in the council packet, reviewing the proposed AVA, including details about the geography of the region, the name selection of Tehachapi Mountains, and other main factors. They've also opened the public comment period, which expires on August 25, 2020, and is inviting individual comments as well as comments from entities such as the City Council regarding the proposed rulemaking for this AVA. So as far as fiscal impact goes, an approved AVA for the Tehachapi area would be an economic boost for the region's wineries and wine tasting rooms. The effort would also increase tourism to the area and have a direct benefit to the city of Tehachapi, where local hotel owners and restaurant operators would see an increase in tourist spending. The AVA will serve as a marketing tool with Tehachapi Mountains not only printed on wine bottle labels, but menus from restaurants across the nation as sommeliers better identify our area wines and strategically place them in dining establishments. So the recommendation this evening is city staff has reviewed the proposed regulations included in this report and realizes the economic benefit this AVA distinction will have on the city of Tehachapi, the greater Tehachapi area, and Kern County. This has been an exhaustive process led by the Tehachapi Wine Growers Commission, a subcommittee of the Greater Tehachapi Economic Development Council. Countless hours of research, meetings, study, and collaboration has been invested in this AVA application by local vintners and those dedicated to the economic development efforts in this area. So staff is requesting that council authorize a letter of support on behalf of the entire Tehachapi City Council to be submitted as public comment for the AVA establishment and support the name Tehachapi Mountains and authorize the mayor to sign. And I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you. Was there any public comment on this?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Okay. And I would just like to say what a huge deal this is and how much we owe to the Wine Growers Commission and the EDC for pushing this through. It was an enormous amount of work, but we're almost there, and I'm just so happy that we're going to be able to have Tehachapi on our bottles. I'll ask for public comments now. Council comments. Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
No comments except for I think this is a very positive item that improves our image throughout the nation. I'm really all in favor of it. So that's my comment. I think it's really great.
Thank you. Councilmember Davies?
I have no comments, Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Pogencord?
None at this time, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
I just want to echo yours and Councilmember Smith's comments that I do think this really elevates our region, and I'm so delighted to support this through the mayor.
Thank you. I'll now entertain a motion to authorize a letter of support on behalf of the Tehachapi City Council to be submitted as public comment for the American Viticultural Area Establishment in support of the name Tehachapi Mountains, and authorize the mayor to sign.
I would love to make that motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
This is
Do I have a
Phil. I
second?
will second.
I'll
Second.
second.
Okay. All right. Now, we'll now take a roll call vote. Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Davies,
Yes.
Councilmember Bogencord,
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Let the record show it was a 5-0 vote to authorize a letter of support on behalf of the Tehachapi City Council to be submitted as public comment for the American Viticultural Area Establishment and support the name Tehachapi Mountains and authorize the mayor to sign. Yay. I just can't say enough about that. So, item number 10, Public Works Director Don Marsh will give the report about the backup generator.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. I'll try and go through this quickly in the background because you were all involved. But in October of last year, I'm sure you recall, we went through several public safety power shutoffs administered by Southern California Edison as a wildfire mitigation measure. The city of Tehachapi during that time rented multiple portable generators and contracted with electricians to ensure the continuation of service for water and wastewater services. During the month of October alone, we spent about $6,600 on generators, and that continued, by the way, into November. And all of that in an effort to continue to maintain water and wastewater services, which we did successfully. In the fall of last year, the governor and the Office of Emergency Services made grant funding available to municipalities to help bolster our resiliency and infrastructure to withstand PSPS events. Probably a forecast of what's to come that there will be more. So in April of this year, the city council, or the city was awarded $300,000 as part of that Cal OES grant program for the purchase of backup emergency generators. And since then, the Public Works Department has solicited proposals from multiple generator vendors for the purchase of both 250 kilowatt and 50 kilowatt trailer mounted generators. The bid package that was sent out to the vendors, it was included in your agenda package, and the ultimate bids were also included. After review of the proposals, the staff went through in detail on the bids, and based on those proposals and the available funding and our backup power requirements, staff has determined that Valley Power Systems has presented the most favorable proposal. Staff is recommending to proceed with the purchase of one 250 kilowatt and one 50 kilowatt trailer mounted diesel powered generator for the total purchase of $190,025. The purchase of these generators, it will be covered 100% by the Cal OES grant funding, and there is no match requirement. So there will be essentially no fiscal impact to the city of Tehachapi. And by the way, we've already received that money, so it's not a reimbursement type arrangement. We've actually already received a check for $300,000. So staff is recommending that the city council authorize staff to proceed with the purchase of one Atlas Copco 250 kW and one Atlas Copco 50 kW trailer-mounted diesel generator from Valley Power Systems for a total of $190,625. This concludes my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Did we have any public comment on this item?
We received 0 comments by email and 0 by voicemail.
All right, I'll ask for Council comments via roll call. Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes, just a question. Was there any money left over to purchase any further, any additional generators, or you felt that this was enough for now?
Yeah, so we were quite fortunate. The bids came in less than what our original estimate was, so that's good news. We will have money left over, and our intent is to utilize that money to improve our fuel storage and dispensing capabilities. So we plan to install a larger diesel fuel storage tank and gasoline, actually, to help us be better prepared for lengthy power outages.
Okay, thank you very much for your response.
Councilmember Davies?
I have no comments, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Pogencourt?
Councilmember Smith asked the question I had, so it was answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Scrivener?
None for me.
And I have none. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to authorize staff to proceed with the purchase of one Atlas Copco 25 kilowatt and one Atlas Copco 50 trailer mounted diesel generator from Valley Power Systems for a total of $190,625.
I so move, if that's okay.
All right.
Pogencourt.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. And we will take a roll call vote. Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Let it show it was a 5-0 vote to authorize staff to proceed with the purchase of the generator and trailer, a total of $190,625. Thank you. And now we're moving on to number 12, and we'll have a report by Jay Schlosser.
Very good. Honorable Mayor and council members, the item I have to present to you tonight is the Track 6248 Tentative Track Map and Reimbursement Agreement. As you'll see in my staff report, this is an interesting case for us. This map was the very first track map that I looked at as city engineer back in 2004. It's the oldest track map we have on the books. It's a small, just so you guys know where it's at, it's a small subdivision of about 29 residential lots located at the south end of Robinson Street, just south of the Wells Education Center, in that open lot where the carnival has often been held over the years. Anyways, here's the background briefly. The project had gotten approved back in 2003, 2004, and in fact, it had gone after approval all the way through the engineering process, which is not minor, where the engineer actually draws all the improvement plans, the final map, all the major components for the physical construction of the development. And then that happened slowly following 2004, and they missed their moment. The economy changed in 2007, and the property owner never proceeded into construction. So we went through all those years of recession and with no action. And as a reminder to you all, in case a few of you may know this, the state legislature, by state fiat, extended all of these track maps multiple times through the down economy. They basically made it impossible for cities to expire maps for a great number of those years between 2007 and frankly 2020, and that left these things kind of floating out there, with the concept being that because the economy was so bad, people who had invested in getting these projects ready for development didn't want to see them lost, and so the state stepped in and created that situation. Anyway, I've been working, the property changed hands recently, like 6 months ago, been dealing with a new property owner who's expressing a desire to actually go into construction and then build these homes. And so they approached us to discuss how to put together a development agreement. And there in my staff report, I laid out the two primary ways that a development agreement is struck between a developer and the city to govern the actual construction of a tract map. And instead of going through the process of explaining them both, I'll just tell you what the proposal is tonight. So the new owner is a Mr. Young Woo Park out of Bakersfield. He has stated, or his agent has told me, they desire to begin construction of the public improvements within the next 6 months. So that's the street, the water line, the sewer line, the sidewalk, things like that. Our concern only, we generally support the project. Our primary concern, though, is that this continues to delay the expiration of the map. And just so you guys know, it's important that we expire maps in a reasonably timely manner. There's certainly a debate there about where that appropriate line is. But our general plan and our zoning code completely changed after this map was approved. And the CEQA document is older, the conditions of approval aren't necessarily the way we would write them now. And so the more years you go past the approval of something like this, the more it is inconsistent with what your current goals are as a community. And so we talked to the developer, we said, look, we can go ahead and work with you to bring an agreement to the council to allow you to move this forward. They are past their expiration date, I should probably state that. But we want an agreement that says that if you don't start construction within the next 6 months, then that we're all agreed this map is going to expire. So they've agreed to that, and that's what is in the proposal today. So the concept is simple. They're going to, they have an agreement that allows them to go make the improvements under permit with the City of Tehachapi. The agreement includes reimbursement language for how city staff the city will be compensated for the inspection expenses associated with constructing those. They will not be filing the final map at this time, and instead they'd like to construct the improvements before filing that map, which is an acceptable process to the city. And so this agreement governs that exchange. And so with that, my recommendation is that you approve and authorize the mayor to sign the tentative tract map and reimbursement agreement for tentative tract map 6248 with a Mr. Young Woo Park. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Were there any public comments concerning this?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail. Thank you.
I'll take council comments now. Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes, hi Jay. Are they going to be constructing just half a street for Robinson along their western frontage?
Yeah, so that's a perfect example of the type of thing that's changed in the last 17 years, or anyway, heck. No, they'll be constructing half width plus 10 feet. So that's the new city standard, or the latest city standard that came into effect in 2006. But we have that in the plan now. So half width plus 10 feet gives you enough width for cars to park on the side of the street and to have 2 vehicle lanes. So that should be okay there.
All right, that should work. That thing is, do we need to address at this point, when you're having a development in here, you've got several dirt roads that people just have made their own roads through this property, and all the way down to Valley Boulevard East. Do we need to address it, or because it's going to generate more traffic with another street portion right there?
Yeah, mixed bag there, Councilmember Smith. I think that's another good example. Had we entertained this tract today, knowing what we know, we might very well have conditioned the development to make some kind of linkage to Valley Boulevard to deal with the traffic that we have on the dirt roads out there. We don't have that, so we weren't going to make that improvement or require that improvement. The flip side to that, though, is by connecting Holly Street to Robinson, which are the 2 boundary streets of this proposed development, a lot of that traffic now is coming off of Holly, and to get anywhere, they have to weave through the Pepper Drive neighborhood and then on to Mojave and E Street or F Street to kind of go anywhere. And so the connection of Holly over to Robinson gives them a more direct path out of that neighborhood to Tehachapi Boulevard. So I think it's a mixed bag. I suspect we'll continue to see vehicles taking dirt roads out there, but we'll also see an enhancement to both the new residents and the existing ones. Again, should this be constructed, they're telling me they're going to do this in the next 6 months, and this is the agreement to govern that, but they still have to actually put a shovel in the ground. So.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I remember when this map first came to us, and like many maps, it's just lines on paper until they start work. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Davies?
I have no comments at this time, Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Pogencord?
I have one. Are they aware of the weather constraints? I know a lot of construction starts, and then due to weather changes, as long as they start before weather changes where they can't do construction, are they okay?
That's an excellent question, and one that was on my mind as well. I believe they are. This gentleman's representative goes by the name of Joseph Kim, and he has a few houses that he's built here in the community, so he's familiar with us. We've been talking to him for years about a project of one sort or another. So I expect that he is. If they wait until the end of that 6-month period to get started, they're basically signing themselves up for extra work to manage any potential erosion that would occur once you start taking all the vegetation off the ground. We do have processes in place to protect against a problem. So most likely after we're done approving, if you guys approve this tonight, and I take it back to them, I'm probably going to send them back a copy along with that very warning, which is, hey, let us know what your plans are and be cautious of waiting to the end of this to get started, or you may find yourself just getting to clean up mud, and nobody really wants that mess. So I'm hoping to cut that off at the pass, but rest assured that we have ways of addressing that problem if necessary.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Scrivener?
None for me.
And I have none. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the reimbursements agreement for tentative track map 6248 between the City of Tehachapi and Mr. Young-Woo Park, and authorize the mayor to sign.
I so move.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Davies.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Pogencord?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Let it show it was a 5-0 vote to approve the reimbursement agreement for tentative track map 6248 between the City of Tehachapi and Mr. Young-Woo Park, and authorize the mayor to sign. Thank you. And now we'll move on to City Manager's report.
I have nothing this evening, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Council member comments? Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
None at this time. One thing I do know, there was some more movement on the Quick Swimming Lanes project. It's just some more, I'm not sure if Jay can add anything to it. There was something that went to the CTC, I think it was. It's just, it's not anything, it's just moving along. So it hasn't been forgotten. Do you have anything to add on that, Jay?
Actually, I don't think I do. I think they're still trickling along in the background. I can report that District 9 is working on a grant application to advance the next stage of that project. That's not the construction stage, but they continue to tell us that it's a priority and that they're trying to figure out how to move it forward. And yeah, that's the best I've got at this point.
Right, and our executive director of TurnCog, Aaron Akimi, he's really making sure this does not, it just stays in the forefront. So that's my only comment for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Davies?
I have nothing, Madam Mayor. I'm for this. It's a great thing.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Pokencourt?
None at this time. You answered my question, or Jay did.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Scrivener?
No comment for me tonight.
All right, and I don't have any comments either. So at this time, we're going to adjourn to closed session. If you have any questions regarding the outcome of closed session, please contact Ashley Whitmore tomorrow at 661-822-2200, extension 101.